What happens to Bitcoin when a war breaks out between major countries like the United States and Iran? Does Bitcoin crash like the stock market? Or could it actually rise during global uncertainty? Whenever geopolitical tensions rise, financial markets react immediately. Stocks fall, oil prices jump, and investors rush to protect their money. But Bitcoin behaves in a very interesting way during global crises. Let's break down what could actually happen to Bitcoin if a US Iran conflict escalates. Historically, wars and geopolitical conflicts create massive uncertainty in global markets. When investors hear news about missiles, military actions, or economic sanctions, the first reaction is usually panic selling. Stock markets often drop quickly because investors want to reduce risk. At the same time, commodities like gold and oil usually rise. Oil prices increase because conflicts in the Middle East can threaten global energy supply. This creates inflation fears and economic instability. So the big question is, where does Bitcoin fit into this situation? Is it a risky asset like tech stocks, or is it becoming a digital safe haven like gold? In the short term, Bitcoin often behaves like a risk asset. That means when global markets panic, investors sometimes sell Bitcoin as well. This happens because large institutions and traders need liquidity. When fear spreads in the market, they move money into cash or safer assets. So during the early phase of a geopolitical conflict, Bitcoin can experience sharp volatility or sudden price drops. We have seen this pattern many times. When global uncertainty spikes, Bitcoin sometimes drops together with the stock market. But that's only the first phase, because Bitcoin has another characteristic that makes it very different. The second phase is where things get interesting. Wars often lead to economic stimulus and money printing. Governments may increase spending to support the economy, which can weaken fiat currencies over time. When inflation fears increase, investors start looking for alternative stores of value. This is where Bitcoin enters the conversation. Bitcoin has a fixed supply of only 21 million coins, which means it cannot be printed like traditional money. Because of this, some investors see Bitcoin as digital gold. If global financial uncertainty grows, Bitcoin could actually attract more investors who want protection from inflation and currency devaluation. That's why, sometimes after the initial panic, Bitcoin can recover and even surge. Pitopatini oro dikindie apironi. However, it's important to understand that Bitcoin is still one of the most volatile financial assets in the world. During geopolitical conflicts, prices can move very quickly in both directions. News headlines, political decisions, sanctions, or military developments can cause sudden price swings. One moment, Bitcoin could drop sharply, and the next moment, it could bounce back just as fast. This extreme volatility is part of the crypto market, so investors need to stay cautious and understand the risks. So will Bitcoin crash if a US-Iran war escalates, or could it actually rise as global uncertainty increases? The truth is it could do both. First panic, then potential recovery. Because Bitcoin sits at the intersection of technology, finance, and global economics. And in times of crisis, markets rarely move in a straight line.